Right, so I am joined with Georgia Tan. So this is called 5 Minutes With, the series. I set a timer on my phone and I ask you just a few questions. Nothing stressful.
Yeah.
So obviously you spoke about helpful content, writing helpful content and not robotic content,
Yeah.
which a lot of people are doing. But can you go into a little bit of detail? Your timer starts now.
Yeah, so really talking about helpful content, I guess it's for 2024.
Yeah.
Really talked about like the first thing was having empathy and like really understanding your target audience, making sure that your content can actually resonate with them. It's going to be so much more effective to actually build that engagement.
Yeah.
To lead to more conversions. That one was more straightforward. It's more just like a reminder that it's so important to remember that we're still writing for users and customers, like that human first part. And then the second thing with expertise was quite interesting. It's more about that shift from, you've got your more traditional topic pillar or hub and spoke model. You might have your ultimate guide or something, but really trying to shift towards more like a funnel driven or user intent driven strategy.
Yeah.
So this example was actually about like, how can you take your your what, how, or best types and change that to be more like first or second person. So example was like, say, rapid weight loss. And you might say, what is it? How to do it? Benefits. But instead you change that to be all person driven. So you'd be like, how I did it in X days, or what to know before you try it, or like, should you even try it?
It's quite interesting you say that, because even on like Facebook ads now, a lot of Facebook ads agencies recommend you to go down like the UGC route, so like user generated content, because it's a little bit more trustworthy. It's not just a slapped image on Canva and you're just blasting it out to 10,000 people. But I also think that SEO's kind of going down a similar path, because there's certain things that like AI just can't do. Like, for example, I recently bought a DSLR, right? And I had an issue with like the SD card, and it basically just wasn't recording and also live streaming at the same time with the DSLR. Now, ChatGPT or AI just wouldn't have been able to pick that up because they've never actually purchased the product. But as soon as you like asked that question, like when you searched it in Google, it was just Reddit, and the Reddit form was actually like very helpful as opposed to just reading the review of the camera.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a lot of things that like that I think going into 2024 and 2025, you just need to have first-hand experience.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess, Reddit has been one of the first things elevated because of that. Maybe a bit too much, but having I think the split with first-hand experience, or also having like expert ones, like for more your YMYL topics. Still great. But a really good tip for me was just always thinking first or second person tense with everything. Like whether it's just a topic or even like throughout like an article and all your H2s and H3s.
Yeah, and surely like when you are writing like first and second hand, I would assume that conversion rates would also increase as well. For sure. Yeah. Because
that way it's just like so much more personable, and it's like in the SERPs now, if all the articles are all so highly SEO optimized, it's not really great to want to really click into it. Yeah. But if it's like a lot more personable and someone connects me, like actually this guy was pretty helpful and I can relate to that situation, and if it's explained well, then definitely.
I do feel like a lot of content nowadays is very soulless. So you'll read something and you're like, this is just SEO optimized, and it's got keyword, like I know keyword density isn't as much of a ranking factor now as it was 6 years ago, but everyone's got the same H2s, the same alt text on images, the same first paragraph. And it's like, guys, really? This is just copycat content.
Exactly. I think a lot of what I talked about today with information gain was also about like while a lot of like the tools, like on-page tools, can help with content consensus, but then you're just going to end up literally like copycat content, and it's like finding how can you add to the Google's knowledge graph by actually introducing like new entities or things that like AI doesn't really know about, so you'll never be able to write.
And then one last question. We probably are going to go over the 5-minute mark, but you're speaking a lot about information gain, and I love information gain, especially for like website recovery as well. But what would you do for information gain for like from a keyword research point of view? Because 9 times out of 10, you can't really do information gain and just use similar tools like Ahrefs and stuff, because everybody's got the exact same keyword research data.
Yeah.
So what are you doing there?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like there is a bit of a reliance on tools. So it's like that's one great source. But I think another thing would be like for a brand would be to also look at like talking to your customers, seeing what the sales, the marketing, customer support teams have to say, like different customer concerns, pain points, and then kind of reverse engineering that to find other topics that totally make sense, but maybe the tool doesn't really have.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Definitely going after zero search volume as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I recommend to like a lot of local businesses, where I say to them like, listen, even before we even do any keyword research, go and speak to your sales staff, because I can guarantee that they're getting commonly asked questions day in, day out on the calls when they're like questioning clients and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, it's great to chat.